Evening to all, and I am Ravichandran. I take care of the HR for all three units of Ashok Leyland. The moment I hear that there is a program on employability skills for the upcoming people or the future people or a millennial people, and I think it is a very apt topic which CARE is looking at the very focused area and reaching to many people. And I really thank NHRD Hosur chapter and equally participating and bring up not only the industry professionals and emerging people, also an important agenda which NHRD Hosur chapter is driving. Mr. Murthy, the president of Hosur chapter of NHRD, is also looking at. And I am also wish to appreciate the effort taken by the founder director Mr. Krishnamurthy of CARE, as well as the joint director Mr. Balachandar, and they are able to transform the people. So therefore, with this note, I would like to really appreciate the team of CARE as well as the NHRD in association with the Success Media, and we are able to reach to closely about 400-500 people for this program. So when I talk about this program, then before we talk to the today's speaker, Dr. Shekhar, so I just want to reiterate some of the points. When I talk about employability skill, it is nothing but the people acquired knowledge and how this knowledge is converted in the form of application. So the application is one, application knowledge is one, acquiring knowledge is one. I am sure the participants who are aiming at the outcome of the program are almost, they all acquired knowledge, right? And they are all aspiring for a platform how they can, transform their knowledge into applications. Therefore, this kind of a program will help the people to prune their thinking and then getting into the application perspective. When I talk about application perspective, you will have the two things to do. One is the avenues for learning, the other one is avenues for career. So when connecting these two, learning and career, you have got a platform to perform. Here the skill comes in. So when you say the skill is nothing but the two part. One is the capability part, the other one is the will part. Everyone should feel that I am capable, I can do, right? I possess all the requirements of the avenues which he looks for. So this is a will part of the individual. Then the capability part is how much you are involved, how much you learned, where you are strong, and you will be able to or ready to demonstrate that strongness in you. So this, the employability skill doesn't like on its own unless you build a capability and unless you have the will to perform. These two are very important. And at the same time, every company is looking for opportunities and providing opportunities, engage people and develop people. And so by government also, the Ministry of Human Resources and Development is also encouraging every industries to improve further and how they can engage further in terms of various program, the National Apprenticeship Program, the MHRD program, including the NEEM scheme, Tata Institute of the Social Science TIS program, and various short program, then the temporary employment program offered by various industries. So if you look at, there are many avenues available. We only need to seek where we are and then which is my cup of tea or which is my interest and how we can go about further and then exploring where I am suitable for. And sincerely, if you look at and exploring, and we will be reaching. So if you have the mindset to go and if you have the will to perform, then automatically the platform is available for each and every one of us. With this, I really welcome Dr. Shekhar, and who is kind enough to take this session. So this is very important session, and I am sure, and you'll be able to give a very good insight to each and every one of you, and which will give a very good transformation to all of you. Why I'm saying, he worked in the industry and he worked in various teams. Basically, an economist turned a generalist in terms of management, and then worked at various kind of industries too, and taking the management sessions or the management programs for an institute which is having the very high importance in terms of transforming rural India. So Engineer Perumbal Manimegalai College. Dr. Shekhar has got a good degree in economics, right? After that, he pursued his human resource post graduation and also a doctorate in management. While I say all that, he has got a very good experience in terms of the various companies, including Sundaram Fasteners, Carborundum Universal, Railway Products, Bull Air India, as well as a resourceful consultant and currently a faculty for Engineer Perumbal Manimegalai. And he has got a lot many things to do, and he has got aspiration. And in meanwhile, such a resourceful person available for us and then taking us in the right way, what needs to be done, what not to be done, and how come this will help the individual to shape their skills towards the future, and so on and so forth. So which will all be an important perspective and important insights which Dr. Shekhar would like to share with you. And I'm sure having published so many papers in various journals, and then also published various papers in the conferences, and then I got a 3 pages of listing to be done about him. But I'm sure the next 1 hour session by doctor will really enthuse each and every one of us, and really appreciate the effort taken by CARE Foundations as well as the NHRD OSU chapter for making these sessions and more sessions for the youngsters to come in and bring in more industry participation too. So I welcome each and every participants and be part of this session, and then take as much as you like. And this is how to prune our life and make a big change in our career. So we once again appreciate and thank each and every one of you, and we'll welcome every one of you to go on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now the platform is yours, Dr. Shekhar, sir.
Thank you. Thanks,
Now the
Ravichandran.
platform is yours. Yeah, you can start your session, sir.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Ravichandran, sir, for that wonderful introduction. I welcome you all to this joint webinar conducted by CARE and NHRD. As you are all aware, NHRD is the Association of HR Professionals doing very good work in capacity development and networking. CARE is also doing good work in terms of training, counseling, and various education-related services. So we have come together to host this webinar for the benefit of the unemployed graduates, those who are studying in second year, third year, so that they can have an idea of what employability skills are all about. So let us get into the webinar. Question answers we can have in the last. So after my lecture, you can put your questions in chat box and I will answer. So I request all the participants to obey this. Let us go ahead with the presentation. Okay, welcome you all to this webinar on employability skills for future. So we are all start our schooling at a very tender age, unaware of what is going in the outside world. Then to our teachers, to our parents, to our elders, we will come to know about the world. Then we slowly progress in our school. We study in various government schools, private schools. Some study in very posh ICSE and CBSE schools. But when it comes to graduation and post-graduation, then we have to come together for this thing. So once we complete education, then what next? That is the question in everybody's mind. So what is next Either you have to take up a employment with somebody or do something on your own. So either of the two. So at the end of the day, the true value proposition of education is employment. So we have this webinar is mainly chosen to go towards the employment. That's why this employability skills. It may already help enterprises also, but it's basically towards employment. So when we complete our education, we come to job search. So when we come to job search, all things will come. Till the date we study, there is no question of anything. We all jolly go to college, school and study. When we come to employment only, lot of questions will arise that you are not skilled, you don't have this experience, you don't have that experience. Till we are in college, nobody used to tell us all this. If they have told us or we ourselves had that awareness, we could have developed these skills in college itself. This webinar is also one such attempt to educate you to develop your skills in college itself. So next, unemployment. So when India is such a huge country, we have a lot of population. So naturally, unemployment is a big problem. So the number of job seekers are more than the number of jobs itself. So the unemployment is there. What are the other reasons for unemployment? Only the population? No, there are several other reasons. For example, there are some reasons which we don't have any control over. So there is liberalization, privatization, globalization. When P.V. Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister, he first took a bold step to liberalize our economy and open it to global sources. So then globalization, privatization, then slowly we progressed by making industries, private industry came into force, lot of government industries are privatized, so on we made movements. Then came digitalization, IT sector came in a big way. India responded very well and there are a lot of IT professionals working here and IT sector has become a great employer in India nowadays. Then they said automation, then they said VUCA world, then they said industry 4.0. So all these disruptors of economy, which in turn affected our employability has come. Then after industry 4.0 for the last 2 years, we are hearing that there is an economic slowdown. So we were ready to cope up with that also. Then suddenly came this COVID. Then suddenly COVID come into place, which has disrupted our economy, our lifestyle, everything it has disrupted, and it's doing a very impactful job in India. We know what is this uncertainty and how to cope up with it. This has impacted our lives very much. Then moving on, what are the reasons for graduate unemployment? Are there any reasons apart from the above stated reasons like privatization, globalization, liberalization? Are there any reasons which is wrong with the job seekers? And these are the reasons. Asking for unrealistic salary and benefits, poor command of English language, so they don't have good communication. Then they're very choosy about the job. For example, when I was dealing with placement in a company, with lot of difficulties, we got some companies, but the job seekers, final year graduates, they were not ready to take up that job, stating various reasons. We won't go for sales job, we won't go for customer service job, we cannot work in the shop floor, we cannot do menial jobs, we want only white collar jobs, sitting behind the fan like that and all. So all these things come into effect. Next, poor communication. They will have very good degrees, they will be first class graduates, but when they are asked to speak a few lines, they lack that skill. Then poor character, attitude or personality. They come for interview, not dressing properly, they don't come in time, and their attitude towards the interviewer and the company is not very encouraging. So these are the many reasons for graduate unemployment. So after seeing all this, unemployability is now become a bigger problem than unemployment. First, we have more people seeking jobs than the actual jobs. But when we analyze the problem deeply, within the existing jobs, some people were not able to get jobs. So what is the problem? So 50% of the graduates, they lack basic employability skills. They are not able to attend interviews in a proper manner, ask the questions, communicate well, show good attitude, present themselves well. With all these problems, they are unemployable. So this is the employability statistics across various domains in the last 5 years, starting from 2016. So as you can see, in 2020, the lowest is 25 and the highest is 49. That means only 50% of people who are graduating from various colleges, universities, they are getting the employment. Then what about others? Where are they lacking? Why are they not getting the jobs? So this is unemployability. So those from premier institutes, they get that campus placements, and in that also some candidates who have studied in the best of the universities, they are not able to make it to the top. So what is the reason? What is this employability or unemployability is all about? So employability refers to a person's capability of gaining and maintaining employment. So if you are employable, you will get a job and you also stick to that and continue in that job. Then it is knowledge, skills, and attitude. This triangle you have to remember: skills, knowledge, attitude. This is the triangle which you have to remember throughout this presentation. And these three are the real reasons behind employability. What knowledge they should have, what skills they should have, what is the attitude they possess and exhibit to the employers. So employability is always affected by demand and supply. Apart from that, the skills, knowledge, and attitude that plays a very important part in employability. So knowledge is the understanding of what, how, and why we need to do something. So if you go for a, say, accountant's job, why should we do this job? What knowledge is required? You need bookkeeping, you need debit, credit, all that. Then the skill in applying. How do you apply that skill? You have to write it in a book, and now there are no account books and all. You have to enter it in Tally or Excel or whatever other ERP, SAP, and whatever latest has come. You have to enter it in that. And next, attitude is the desire to transform our knowledge into skills and ultimately into habits. So whatever we know, we should be able to turn it into the job. You have to carry it to the job. You have to transfer your knowledge and skills to the job. That is attitude. You should not say, I am given more work and less pay. I am overworked. Somebody is getting more. You should not say all those reasons and fail to transform what you know to the job. Next, so competence to get a job depends upon knowledge, what we know, attributes, why we know, and skills, how to do that. So all these things together constitute your competence. And next, knowledge. How do we get the knowledge? Knowledge comes with learning. Whatever you learn from first standard to your UG or PG in universities, you would have learned a lot of lectures, you read newspapers, you see TV, you attend various programs, and whatever you have learned, all that comes under learning. Next, skill. Skill is you acquire some new talent and you practice it, then it becomes a skill. Attitude never comes, it's developed. Attitude is basically dependent upon how we are brought up and how we recognize our weaknesses or strengths. And the strengths we develop and weaknesses we have to leave it. Whichever weaknesses come in our relationships, we have to forego that. So that knowledge comes with learning. Whatever we learn from first standard to UG or PG, skill comes with practice or experience. Attitude never comes developed. Attitude is the main thing in all these three. So what are employability skills now? We have seen employability. What are the employability skills? So knowledge, skills, and attitude relating to a particular job is employability skills. For example, you are going for a customer service job. What is the knowledge you should have? You should know the product. You should know the basic office automation tools. You should know MS Office, then you should know Excel, then you should know how to talk over phone, and you should know how to promptly send reply to customers, and you have to show a good attitude to the customer. This is required for a customer service job. And this employability skills also include not only employability, but also where will you get your jobs, where to search for, how to match yourself to that, how to write a CV, and how to present yourself to the customer or employer during the interview. All this is constituted in employability skills. So it's not only your knowledge, skills, attitude, it's also how you present it, how you identify your opportunities, how you match yourself to that, how you show it through your CV or your LinkedIn profile, or during the interview, how do you show it? All these constitute together for employability. So next we have to see what are recruiters, employers are looking for. What are they looking for? So there is this iceberg model. So we have seen the triangle. You once again remember that attitude, skill and knowledge. Skill and knowledge is at the top of our personality, which can be easily identified. Looking at your CV, they can know about your knowledge and skill. And once they call for interview only, they will be able to know your attitude. So skills and knowledge are only 20% of your personality, and 80% is mainly attitude. Attitude comes values, traits, motives, self-image. So attitude is the main thing which gives you employment, because attitude decides whether you go to work daily, and when you go to work, you are motivated to do that work. Then when you are motivated, will you do the work properly? Will you work properly with others in a team? Will you complete the work in the given time? Will you properly respond to your suppliers, customers? All these things come in this 80% of your attitude. So now, based on now skills and knowledge, you may get the interview. But in the interview, how you perform, how your attitude, that only decides you are getting job. Next, there are some things which doesn't require any talent, but it is very important. These are the things: being on time, punctual. So interview is at 10 o'clock. You should not go exactly at 10 or 10:10. You should be there at least 10-15 minutes before. Then work ethic. Work ethics means you should not cheat anybody. You should not do corruption. You should not take any things from there. All these are ethics. Next, effort. You should put some effort to get things done. Next, your body language. You should not show your life like a lazy fellow and all that. You should be very energetic, agile. For this, you have to do some warm-up exercises or something before going to office. Next, energy. You should always be full of energy. Morning when you go, you will be energetic. By the end of the day, you will lose all your energy. But your attitude, your mental status is okay. That will not be depicted. You will be shown as very energetic. Next, passion. Passion is something which is very important. If you have interest in doing your job, that is passion. If you have interest in your doing job, everything all else will fall in place. Then being coachable is nothing but you have to learn from your superiors, your friends, and from any others coming to the office like consultants. You have to learn your job. Since you are a fresher, you have to learn from all these sources. You have to be learnable. You should be coachable, means you should be open to learning. You should learn, unlearn and learn. First you learn something, if it gets obsolete. For example, some things are there in computer earlier which is now not there. So you have to unlearn that and relearn what is the latest. Next, doing extra. For example, you have to stay for 1 hour more or do some extra effort. You have to do that to complete your work. Next, being prepared for the worst. If any unforeseen circumstances come, you should be prepared. So all these things does not require any big talent. It just requires some effort from your side and understanding. So you have to exhibit that. Next, there are some hobbies that make you more employable. Normally people have a lot of hobbies, but some people don't show it properly in their CV or discuss during the interview. Here are some good hobbies. playing sports, creative habits, risky habits, reading, playing games like Sudoku, chess, all these, whatever you play, your hobbies show your true personality. You should not say looking at movies, listening to music, like that you should not vaguely put. You should put your habits and how much work you are in that. Actually, daily you are spending some time on that, or you have achieved some levels in that. All that thing, if you show in your CV or discuss during your interview, that will be a plus point for you. So hobbies also are important. Next, knowledge. What is the knowledge acquired through learning? What are the kinds of knowledge required for a job seeker? General knowledge. General knowledge is your common sense and general things like that. Speaking over phone, going neatly, sitting politely, something like that. Domain related is if you are going for a particular job, the domain related things. For example, you are going for an electrical engineer job, and if they ask you whether you know how to put a fuse, you should not say no. Then job related, then industry related. For each industry, there are a lot of particular things, unique things that you should know. For example, if you go for a job for a software industry, there the working style is different from a manufacturing industry. So there the timings are not there. You have to work in different timings and all that. You should be prepared for that. That function related, whichever function, you are in finance, you are in HR, you are in marketing, and that requires some specific skills. For example, you are in accounting means you have to show some control in spending money. If you are in HR means you should show some empathy for people. If you are in marketing means you should be outward, you should have some convincing skills. Like that, the knowledge is there. Next, what do employers expect from fresh graduates? We have actually seen knowledge. The main focus of this program is skills, employability skills. So that we are going to see now. What do employers expect from fresh graduates? What do the employers expect? So from now onwards, I will be showing you some slides which contain some information regarding job requirement for each post taken out from different companies. It can be advertisement, it can be a job description, all that. All this is just for your observation. If you want to go, these are recently taken from various sources. So if you really want to apply something like that, then you have to search yourself in the newspaper or net and you have to apply. These slides are just shown for observation. So you have a paper and pen with you. I require you to take your paper and pen and just based on your understanding so far of knowledge, skills and attitude so far regarding this presentation, I want you to note down what are the knowledge and skills and attitude given in each slide. I am going to show you about 8-10 slides. So if you can note down, then we can discuss it later. So carefully observe or write down what are the things required. So this is for a trainee, Integra Software Services. So I'll show this slide for 2 minutes. You just have a look at it. What is the job description? What is the eligibility criteria? All that you can look at it. So it's a graduate for the last 3 years till this year. You should be passed out. You should not have arrears. Then written communication in English, basic and understanding about indexing, because this is a publishing company. Next, willingness to work in rotating shift, willingness to sign in a minimum service agreement. So what you have to do is knowledge, skills and attitude. You just look at it from 3 different perspectives. What is the knowledge expected in this job? What is the skill set you are requiring? And what is the attitude or what is the attitudinal things expected from you? Next slide. So this is for SQL company. Here also you see whatever the specifications given. They want only male candidates. Any graduate, any specialization. You want analytical and logical skills. And as you all know now, business analytics is picking up very well. So that is the area. This is analytic and logical skills. Must have good knowledge on SQL, sequential query language. Next, good verbal and written communication. And you must be willing to work in all 3 shifts, 24/7. whichever shift allotted to you, you should be able to work. Next slide. This is for CSS Corp. So what is the role? You have to handle customers, customer client calls, troubleshooting, technical issues, and the product line is routers, modems, and ISP related issues. So for this, you have to have some technical knowledge, then good communication skills, flexible to work in night shifts. Before June 20, if you are graduated with all these skills, you can apply for. So you can see at the newspaper and see how to apply. But these are the requirements. Next one. Next, this is for a Melmela Tech India Private Limited. This is an accounting company, basically, back-end work. Monitoring company accounts and conducting quarterly reviews. You may have to go to customer's place also. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, profit and loss, tax, expense reports, cost reduction proposals, payroll, audit for tax codes, budget presenting, all this. So what are the skills required? You should be a BCom honors graduate, plus it is preferable that you have some additional qualification like law, company secretary, ICW or something like CA. If you have passed some inter, it will be good. And advanced MS Excel is very much required. You have to be proficient in MS Excel. So this is also an upcoming skill required now every day. There are a lot of webinars happening for MS Excel. Even NHRD Coimbatore chapter is organizing one. If you want to enroll, you can enroll. So this is MS Excel. Next, you have experience in an e-commerce company or working with a CA firm, it will be advantage. Tally software is required, accounting software. So MS Excel, Tally, that's a good combination. So you should have good academic record. So this is the requirement. And language proficiency, apart from reading and writing and speaking with good English, you should also know how to speak in Hindi because you have to go to various clients. Next, international graduate training for a supply chain management company. This is a global requirement. You can apply from here, but there are a lot of requirements here. Excellent academic record with knowledge in supply chain, 6 months of relevant work experience, open-minded and have strong desire and flexibility to work internationally. So you have to work for global timings. Next, you should be able to think and act in complex structures. That is complex thinking you have to do. Next, can-do spirit and high sense of responsibility. You have to own your job and you have to exhibit that you can do a work if given to you. Next, team player, inspiring team player with outstanding communication. You have to work with teams spread across the globe and do the communication. Next, English fluency, knowledge of further language is a welcome. Further language here speaks about foreign languages. So this is an international requirement. Next, this is a Vodafone, our mobile company. This is a back-end job. Highlight accountabilities, key deliverables, impact on business, interface with customers, leadership and teamwork. So you have to have a bachelor degree and good in communication, computer skills, excellent communication skills. Next, SBA, I am taking various industry requirements so that you can have an idea what are the specific requirements for different industry and also some common requirements like excellent communication skills, analytical skills. These are becoming common skills. So this is a back-end, provide end back-end operational support to sales channels, any graduate, any specialization, good communication, analytical skills, comfortable with number crunching. That means you should be very comfortable working with numerous skills are required. Next, MS Word and MS Excel should be good at. Next, candidate with finance, insurance, BPO experience will be preferred. And next requirement, this is for a recruiter or quality scheduler. Hiring for candidate should have excellent interpersonal and communication skills. What are communication skills? You know, you should be able to communicate what you know orally, in written fashion, or in whatever form required. Even through a video, you have to communicate in video conferencing. You should be comfortable in communicating. Now that COVID is there, there are no one-to-one meetings. Everything is done online. So you should be able to communicate in Zoom, WebEx, Cisco, or various other video conference platforms. Next, it's only day shift, 5 days working, all these facilities there for you. You should handle multiple priorities. That means you should be good at multitasking. At the same time, you have to reply to a customer, you have to type something, you have to order something, you have to do that multitasking. So this is one requirement. And next, this is the latest, because looking at the COVID situation, they are straight away giving you work from home option. They have given the requirement itself as work from home opening in MNC BPO. So you have to work from the comfort of your home, but there are a lot of requirements. Excellent communication skills. You should have a good laptop and a Windows software plus a good Wi-Fi. Then you should research and identify solutions to issues. Customers may come out with various technical and functional issues. You should be able to do some research and solve their problems. Then provide prompt and accurate feedback to customers. If they ask for any queries, there are any problems, you should be able to reply back within given time and with genuine solutions. Even a HSC, that means higher secondary fellow, is okay if he has all these skills. So that's how things are changing. There is more focus on skills than your exam certificate or something like BPO experience will be a plus. So this is one requirement. Next, this is a junior team, this internship opportunity, but you look at the job description, they are given very important skills which are required now. Junior team members should be able to understand and learn day-to-day tasks provided by managers or seniors. So the managers or seniors may tell you over phone or over video conferencing. You should be able to take that clearly when they tell. If you have any queries, you should be clear with them and get the job correct and document it. Then you have to give them regular updates and you should take the ownership of your tasks and you should be able to complete in time. This is one main requirement when you are working in a remote environment far from your boss or office. Next, proactive in communication on process and timeline. If you have any doubts on your work or process or timeline, you should be proactive. That means you should take initiative, ask your boss or colleagues, clarify it and complete the work. Then you should be able to review your own work and provide deliverables. There will nobody be monitoring your work, so it's all your responsibility. You have to take the work properly from your superiors, document it properly, clear any doubts you have, then you should complete and send it. Show interest to learn technology and process to support on projects ad hoc requests. So whatever new technologies you have to learn quickly over online or through your peers. So this is the kind of opportunities that will come in future. So I think you have gone through well all these requirements. So what do you think the employees look for in fresh graduates? I think you roughly have an idea now. What is the knowledge for a particular job? What are the skill sets? What is the attitude? You can differentiate now. So when you are called for interview, based on the document you have applied, whether job description or a advertisement, you have to segregate these three things. What is the knowledge level they are looking for? What are the skill sets? What are the attitudinal things? You should match yourselves to these requirements, then prepare your CV accordingly and send it to them, highlighting all these things. So that's how this whole exercise will be useful for us. So when you look at your job description or advertisement, you should be able to divide it clearly and match it to your skill sets, knowledge and attitudinal things, and you present to your employer accordingly, first over the CV, then during the interview, then your chances of getting employed will be high. So let us now sum up what we have seen in the previous slides. I just made a sum up. I hope some of you at least have written down whatever you looked at in this previous 8 or 10 slides. Just match it with this. Good verbal and written communication, English reading, writing and speaking skills and Hindi speaking, updating documents, providing regular update, proactive in communication, provide accurate feedback to customers, interface with customers, suppliers and third parties. So different kinds of people connected with company you have to interact. So you have to show different mindsets. You cannot talk in the same way to a customer or supplier and to a third party who is not connected with both your business. Next, you should be a good team player. You should be understand and learn day-to-day tasks provided by seniors. Get clearly. You should exhibit leadership skills. Then, excellent analytical and logical skills in addressing data. As we all know, data handling is coming in a big way. Data management is very big. Now, if you go to Google and type, you yourself can see a lot of information thrown up, which is good, which is wrong, which is from an authentic source, which we can take, to what extent we can take. This is data management, for which you require good analytical skills that you have to develop. You have to do some certification or you learn it. That is very important. Next, willingness. This is attitudinal things. Willingness to work in rotating shift. This week you will work in morning, next afternoon, the day after in the mid shift, like that. That flexibility should be there with it. You have to willingness to sign a minimum service agreement. The company may ask for you to sign a 2 years agreement, 3 years agreement. You should think well, and if you don't have any other job, or if you want this job, you should be able to sign that, discussing with your parents. So all these things you should have pakka clarity. Next, passionate to learn new technologies. Now everywhere technology is changing and you have to work with new technology. You should be willing to learn that. You should have a open mind and desire and flexibility. You should have open mind, interest to learn, flexibility to accept that you don't know the technology, and you should go to whoever knows the technology, whether it's online, offline. You should accept that, find the source and equip yourself with the technology. Then strong can-do spirit, high sense of responsibility. This is the ownership skills and for your personal attitude. If a job is given to you, that your owner or your supervisor should have a confidence that you will execute that job at any cost. So that kind of thing you have to exhibit. Next, you are able to think and act in complex structures, that complex thinking. Next, ownership and assigned task, innovation and change. So these are the various things I have compiled. Hope you have also compiled the same thing, and you now have an idea what are the things coming up in future, what kind of knowledge, skills and attitude required in future, since we have to work in remote environments, work from home. Some days you may go to the office, someday you have to work from your home. Then there will be no supervision. You have to own up your jobs, you have to execute. Then you have to adjust to global environments and work. Actually, after COVID, we all don't know how the world is going to change. We just have ideas. So you have to prepare for that. There are a lot of channels to educate yourself. You have to educate that, and you have to prepare accordingly. So apart from those skills, these skills, Monster, LinkedIn and World Economic Forum have done some survey and come with some top 10 employability skills. This is more or less in line with the whatever slides we have seen so far. So, but let us have a clear idea of what these skills are. Complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, cognitive flexibility. So we'll see these skills one by one with examples, how it will look like. First, complex problem solving. What is the skill required here? Involves objective and systematic analysis of problems. So For example, a customer has complained to you that your service is not good. When you have inquired that, it seems that the problem is at customer's end and not at your end. How do you deal with this situation? So you have to analyze this problem objectively, looking at the customer, how he is important to you, because without customers, you will not have your job, you will not have your service there. So how do you deal with it? You have to do a proper and systematic analysis. How these such problems are done, solved earlier, how important is this customer, has he behaved like this earlier. All this analysis you have to see and solve this problem. This is called complex problem solving. Complex is because you are dealing with the customer and he is the lifeline of your business. Next, critical thinking, ability to use logic and reasoning. For example, a customer service manager is asked to do a training session for his employees. So what he did, he took out the customer feedback forms. Whatever feedback customers has given, he has took out that and used that to train his employees. So that's a good logical reasoning, no? It's a good reason because the customer service employees are there to serve the customers. So whatever the feedback given on them by the actual end users will serve as a good platform. So this is logical reasoning. Next, creativity. What is the creativity? For example, a person in marketing is given with a job to increase his market share without increasing the marketing budget. So how does he achieve that? This fellow achieved using creative campaigning by making use of technology and social media. So like that out of box thinking, without spending whatever the company wants. Here the company wanted without spending extra money. So make use of the latest technologies. Next, people management. This is also an important thing because now you have to deal with people without seeing them also. You may not see them based on your past knowledge about them, how they behaved earlier, or your understanding of people. With that knowledge, you have to handle people. That is the thing. Next, coordinating with others. If you have to work in a team, how do you coordinate with people from different time zones, countries, cultures, and play your part successfully in the completion of that whole project? Next, emotional intelligence. This is also important task where you have to exhibit your mental skills. So you have to control your emotions and you should be able to be controlled other people's emotions. Also, if somebody is aggrieved, suppose your colleague is very aggravated, how do you control with them? You continue arguing with him or you pacify him, then tell your point, then make him understand that point. So this is emotional skills. This also you should be able to do it. Next, judgment and decision making. So now we are working with heavy deadlines. You have to complete quickly, all that. In that case, if there is an unforeseen problem, how will you react to that problem? Not only reacting, how do you judge the situation correctly and take a quick decision to come over the crisis? For example, in a very tight deadlines environment, one project has to be presented to the customer. The whole team is working on that for the last 2 to 3 weeks. Then suddenly, 10 minutes before the presentation, the technical system goes wrong and they are now not able to repair. And how will you react? And this fellow, what he did, he took photocopies of the slides and then he presented and got the things done. So that is quick thinking and how you react to situation correctly and quickly. Next, service orientation. As a sales manager, as a customer service, as a front office desk, for that matter, any job you are in, you should have that service orientation. That means you should coordinate well with the opposite party and you should be able to complete your job. For example, you are a sales manager, you work with different team members. Their strengths are different. The kind of customers they deal, the kind of products they deal may be different, but all of them have to achieve their targets and together as a team you have to win. So how do you work with each of them in differently, uniquely, using all your experience with the company, yourself, your knowledge, your rapport building skills, all this, how do you work? That is the matter. Next, negotiation. So negotiation is very important for people in sales, in purchase, in finance, in HR also. Everywhere negotiation is important because you have to sit with the opposite person and work out an agreement which works well for both of us, a win and win situation. So you should obtain your company given targets, plus at the same time you should give the opposite party best value for his time and money. So this is applicable across all functions, take it purchase or sales, anything. For example, when you are negotiating with a customer, you should not only get a good price for your company, you should also open doors for future sales and also accessory services like annual maintenance contract, repeat orders for spares, all this. So that is called negotiation. For this, you should have a clear understanding of opposite parties' requirements, how far you can stretch yourself on price and all this, and proceed further. And the last one is cognitive flexibility. This is the intelligence part of a person, how he deals with emotions, thoughts, ideas, opinions of others, and arrive at a common agreement. For example, a HR manager has to execute a wage agreement. What are the things he has to look into? First, the company would have given him some number below which he has to close the agreement, for which he has to first take the orders from the top management, then he has to deal with union on one side, other workers if there are multiple unions, then if there are government authorities. So he has to balance them all, and together complete wage agreement he has to work out, which will last for a few years, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, which decides the productivity and the employee engagement for the next few years. So it's a very critical function which he has to execute. This is called cognitive flexibility. How do you deal with persons from different backgrounds, different grades, different hierarchy, and with different ambitions or expectations? How do you match them all and come into agreement which is good for the company and also acceptable to everything? For this, you require creativity, logical thinking, and good public relations. You should have people across all spectrums from whom you can take help, and you should also have good persuasion skills. So these are the 10 skills which World Economic Forum, Monster, and LinkedIn have identified that will be of very importance from now onwards. These skills are very important, and looking at the COVID effect, you all can appreciate that these skills are very important. Next, those are the soft skills. What are the hard skills? So these are some hard skills which are very required now. MS Excel, blockchain, business analysis, affiliate marketing, sales, scientific computing, video production, cloud computing, analytical reasoning, artificial intelligence, and the list goes on. I have just mentioned some 10 hard skills here. So you have good soft skills, you have good hard skills, you know what you have to achieve, but how do you achieve? That is the problem. So this is how you achieve. How to enhance your employability skills. Volunteering to take roles in your workplace or community. In your college or in workplace or your community, you have to take lead to do some common jobs. You should take some initiative, and you should spend your time, energy, if required some money also, but time and energy are important. You should go forward voluntarily and spend time and energy on that and able to solve those problems. Next, public speaking is very important. For this, if you identify that it's important at college level or school level, you can take part in various activities there itself and develop. If not, you can do some online forums like Toastmasters, all that. Next, professional networking. Networking is very important. If you have to get a job, you have to network with HR people, company owners, all that. Then if you are connected with some trade, you should go to that association. Then you should be able to do some leadership programs, all that. Next, you must have a LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is a very good community or professional community where you can network with people of your interests and employers, owners, and lot of people you can get exposed to, and you get exposed to them, and you get the exposure. Whoever doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, take this as the learning from this webinar and go and create a LinkedIn profile today itself. And you start a LinkedIn profile, you put whatever you know there, your skills, whatever knowledge, whatever volunteering you have done, and all your known contacts will come there. Friendship, make friendship with them all, and you can follow people or communities which you have common interests. You can do a lot of things with LinkedIn. So you go, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you go and create now. Next, help to develop a community website or fundraising event. For your, if your group in your community doesn't have a website, you can help them in creating that, or you can do a fundraising event. Now that COVID is there are a lot of people without food and basic facilities. You can raise a fundraising event through your known sources, and then you can proceed accordingly. Next, write your own blog, prepare videos and share them. So this is expression of creativity. Since you are not able to go out now, you have the comfort of your home, especially students and job seekers, you can start exhibiting your writing skills through writing blogs, etc., or prepare videos on whatever things interest you. And main thing is share them. Don't keep it to them. Share in your known things. Next, you can also find a mentor who helps in professional development. We have discussed professional networking. So finding a mentor and taking his help for your professional development is a very good idea. You can look around. There may be your friends, your relatives, or your known circles. If anybody very knowledgeable, working in a good place is there, you can take his help, or you can join some networking groups and look for whoever can mentor you. There are online things also. So first you accept that you need a mentor, then you proceed. Next, now everything is online. Even UGC has asked for, instructed university to permit internship online, but the colleges and universities are yet to react on that. Let us hope for that. There are a lot of online sources for you to do courses: Udemy, Coursera, Skillshare, Career Foundry, Treehouse, ICT Academy, NHRD. All these things are doing various initiatives now, various webinars on things like MS Excel, labor laws, all these. So depending upon your interest, you can join. Next, there are some jobs which are going obsolete now. So in next 2 to 3 years, this job will not be there, mainly because of the advent of technology, and second, how the things are changing now. So one-to-one interaction is now not very advised. So we have to do it, most of the things online from distance. So there are a lot of things which are going away, which is taken by technology. So these are the jobs you can see which is taken away by technology. And there are a lot of jobs emerging which you can consider for equipping yourself for doing some online courses: data analysis, machine learning, software applications, developers, sales and marketing through network, big data, digital transformation, new technology. So all this you can consider. So you have to look at the jobs which are going obsolete, and you have to look at the emerging jobs and equip yourself accordingly. Next, McKinsey company has come out with some skill sets which are very useful at this COVID stage. These are: expand the ability to operate in a fully digital environment. Going forward, things are getting fully digitalized, so you equip yourselves to work in a digital environment. You cannot say that I am not concerned with it, I am at a very low level or I am at a high level. Whatever level, whatever job you are going to do, that will impact, technology will impact that. You should at least know how it works so that you can participate in that. Next, develop cognitive skills to ensure that critical players can respond to the need for redesign and innovation. So if you are occupying some important position, then you should be ready for redesign and innovation. Next, strengthen social and emotional skills to ensure effective collaboration. That is emotional intelligence, what we have discussed just now. So you should have very sociable, and emotionally you should be very strong and flexible to make new activities, to work with people without seeing them, work online, all these things. Next, build adaptability and resilience skills to thrive during an evolving business situation. So now various business have to redefine the scope or this thing, how they are going to work. Whatever you are doing offline, you should be able to replicate online. So you should be prepared for this. This is basically the change of business landscape. Whatever you are doing now online, you should be able to do it online also, whatever doing offline. So that is the thing. Next, I don't want to go to the store. That's what people felt. Then Amazon came in. So everything you are purchasing now online. Next, I need instant access to information. Now Google search. So whatever you need, especially the new generation, they will not ask anybody. Gone are the times when we used to go to our elders, teachers, and ask them, what is this, what is this? Now nobody has that patience or that mindset to ask. They will just to Google and go Google search. Next, nobody wanted to go for public transport, wait for public transport, spend so much time and energy there. So then came Uber, Ola and came. Next, they don't want to go to cinema theaters and see movies. Then Netflix, Amazon Prime has come. Now what next? That's what we have to think. And next, now COVID has come. So what are the inventions that are going to come in line with this new situation? We can imagine to a certain extent, but we do not actually know. So we look forward to what is going to happen in future. Next, just to recap, knowledge, skills and attitude together constitute an employability scenario. Knowledge and skills will help you find a job and make it easy for you. But it is that attitude and passion which will ensure that you keep that job and proceed there. So that is the main message here. Next, since we have developed at networking, I represent an organization, NHRD, which is basically into capacity building and networking. A few words about networking. How is network building relationships, developing a support system, obtaining information, advice, referrals, exchanging information, ideas, contacts. From NHRD, we are basically a networking and capacity building association. So what we do, we conduct regular meetings once or twice in a month. Then we conduct some certificate courses. We go to colleges and conduct some programs. We have student chapter meetings, and we have conduct some programs for faculty going there. We have voluntarily gone there and conducted. Then we conduct for various professionals, various kinds of courses. And in this way, COVID time, we are conducting various webinars. All our chapter information you can get if you become part of NHRD, because we have already 32 chapters across India, and all the chapters are conducting different webinars on different topics from experts. We have very great experts in our network, so you can take advantage of that. Then, so what you have to do now is, you have to accept the current circumstances that we cannot move, and all our academic things will be delayed, and it will be some time before you get to write your exams, finish your internship, and able to go for a job. You accept the situation and use this situation to equip yourself. Then be safe and healthy. For tomorrow, if you have to be ready for during this period, you have to be very safe and healthy. So indulge in some yoga, then some healthy programs from your home. Then help other people to possible extent. Learn new things virtually. Expand your networks. That is, join some professional networks. Then express your creativity. Write your own blog. Make some videos and share it. Then be very optimistic. that we will get over this situation, and if you are equipped now, then we can face the future. The coming future is yours. So wish you all the very best.